killer bees, not because of their killer mentality or their punch packs a sting, only because they're wearing yellow jackets that say event security. And you see the bees going up the stairs, just swarms of yellow jackets going up. But I've gone to high school, like Michael Sisler, for example.
Yeah.
He was kind of not in special ed, but if he went, it wouldn't be like, what are you doing here? Like, he's one of those guys. Like, that's the guy
I know.
breaking up the shirtless, come on!
That's right.
You're
That's
like,
right.
what is Sisler doing?
You
like,
send him in there.
He's going to get his face beat in.
You send him in there.
And is the mentality, do you think, like you just overwhelm them with yellow jackets?
That's what you
where
got
they
to
go,
do.
whoa, I better chill out.
You get a whole group of guys, big guys, to just smother them. That's what
But
you want to do.
they're not even big.
You can't get a guy like Nick Diaz in there because Nick Diaz will fucking punch his lights out, and then you got a huge lawsuit.
Nick Diaz, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, is just a phenom UFC fighter.
Now, by the way, you say I'm tough. For me, I'm a pussy, right? I know enough about fighting to know what a pussy I am. For example, I went down to American Top Team, and Thiago Alves gave me a private lesson.
Let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
Whenever you're going to talk fighting, you got to slow it down.
You're right. Because people don't.
We had to shelve an entire podcast.
Really? Because
it's like American Top. It's like people don't know what American Top Team is. They don't like it's fighting is the ultimate micro. Yeah. It's a microcosm of 40 different microcosms.
It really is, by the way.
So
most people don't live that way. They don't think.
We want to hear the story, but you just got to really slow it down for message board people that are playing fucking World of Warcraft.
I was down in Florida, and my buddy Eve Edwards, who is a MMA, a mixed martial arts legend. He's a guy who
black
fights
guy with white women.
Thank you. And he, I think his wife is actually Korean.
Play along.
I'll play along. And
she's off-white.
And he calls me up and he said, I call him up and I say, I want to go to American Top Team and I want to do a little, I want to just go in there.
That's the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, correct?
That's a professional mixed martial arts gym where Thiago Alves, who's one of the top of the food chain, Mike
got
Brown.
His face fucking beat in by
No, he didn't.
Diego Sanchez?
No. Thiago won his last fight.
Who did Diego Sanchez beat up?
I don't
named
know.
Thiago Alves.
But I love Diego Sanchez because he
never
just
beat
quits.
a Portuguese guy?
Not Thiago Alves. Thiago Alves doesn't get beat up, my friend.
All right, I'll look it up, though.
Thiago Alves is a monster. And he gave me a private lesson because he was a Death Valley fan, which is a TV show only he and one other person watch. And you watch.
Matt Cohen saw it.
There you go. And but the bottom line is the guy. You realize just how vulnerable you are as a man when you mix it up with a guy of that caliber.
You're a guy. Okay. Like, I would say you and I are friendly enough. Like, if we were an ounce less friendly, I wouldn't give you this. But there's no doubt in my mind you would punch the shit out of me into submission quickly.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I'm in better shape and I'd wear you down.
But you just fight. Some guys are just wired. And like earlier, before we came on the air, we were talking about boxing and Andre Ward and different boxers and different fighters we like. And you're the type of guy that when you act out the fight that happened, like in a funny story, when you act out the fighting part, everybody gets a little scared. You go, so then the guy, Butch Bradley's brother goes, wah, wah, wah. And you're standing there and I feel the breeze go by my eye and I'm like, whoa.
I get excited.
Like, and when I act it out, I'm like, all right, just have your balance be correct so you don't look like a spaz acting out a fight.
Keep your footing.
I think I'm a smother. Like I have to get it to the ground. Personally, my strengths and weaknesses.
God, some guys though, when you get them to the ground, your life becomes worse. At least if you stand up with a guy and he knocks you out, it's over. You go to the ground with a guy who really knows how to tie you up. Oh boy,
but the odds of that happening at Dave and Buster's.
That's true.
That fight going to the peanut shelled floor.
It's very true.
Somebody is playing fucking. It takes two to make a thing go right. If that fight goes to the ground and that guy's like 8 beers into his night, I'm going to fucking kill him.
You're right.
I'm going and I'll smash his head against the floor. Right. Like no one will see the.
And by the way, chances are when you get into a wrestling scuffle, you're not going to get sued. If you knock somebody's teeth out with a great right, that's big trouble for a guy like you, especially. Like Jay Mohr broke all my teeth. You're in trouble.
When you're on the ground at like Dave and Buster's, let's say at the bar, you go to the bar. Like I don't personally drink. Like I'm going, hey Brian, I'm going up. You need anything? Matt Cohen, what do you need? And I go to the bar and the guy says, hey, Slam Man, fuck you, you fuck. And then and I realize I can't throw at this guy because I'll get my teeth bashed in. I won't be able to make a living and I'll have things wired closed. So I'm going to probably go right to the double leg.
Yeah, no. This is what happens. You just give me a signal and then I just walk up and I go, my friend, I think you might want to find somebody else to to dance with, if you know what I mean, unless you want me to cut in. He goes, what, did you just use a dance metaphor? Then I go, move on. And I see how low and confident my voice is, how much soda is in my voice right now? You see that shit?
I think there's a movie to be written. It's like Wingman is all about getting chicks.
That's exactly right.
There should be a wingman that just steps in right, because like you just don't want your friend to, and you could alternate who the wingman is that night.
Well, also,
like tonight, Brian, I got it. I'm the wingman tonight. So like you go out, talk shit, and I go, hey fella, I'm gonna ask you to take one step back. Okay.
And what? But by the way, don't leave out the fact that you're definitely in a Wing Chun stance. You're very low right now. You're very, very low.
But it can't be Wing Chun because I'm not moving forward and through you. I love Wing Chun.
Wing Chun is the greatest.
People don't understand. Everything's built to go through the guy.
When people ask you where you get your body, just do that. Go. What do you do to stay in shape? Wing Chun, and then just walk away.
When I first started Twitter, I went, let me finish this thought. That's why I write shit down, because I forget stuff when I get to sidetrack.
We're both the worst.
I know. When Brian and I sat down to eat in the Palisades.
And we always talk about the same bullshit, too. Fighting.
His poor wife. I look over. She's just got her head down eating her fucking fish. Like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, no. She's like, oh, God.
But I think she was happy that Kindred Souls had reattached.
She likes you a lot.
Like, because you weren't saying it to her. And I wasn't saying it to my wife.
You guys are a lot alike.
And she just held my baby.
You should hang out more. Your baby Meredith.
He's the best.
And Jackie.
I love... The more older he gets and the more his personality takes shape, I'm more and more thrilled with the name Meredith for a boy.
I think it's a great name.
Because he's like Montgomery Clift, beautiful blue eyes.
Or Burgess Meredith, who was one of the great
Meredith
actors.
Wilson wrote The Music Man, which is why Nick's father is named Meredith, after Meredith Wilson, who wrote The Music Man.
You know...
but if I wrestle the guy at a bar, and I get that to the ground, I'll finish this quickly.
Yeah.
When I'm on the ground, if I get like a front headlock on you, I can act like I'm holding you, and I can yell like, come on, we need some help. But I'm also going to bang the side of your face against the bar stool legs.
Yeah.
And no one sees that.
Yeah, but you know what I worry about with that, going to the ground? His friend kicking you in the fucking head.
I'm okay with that.
That's my problem with jiu-jitsu and arm bars. You can get a great arm bar on a guy, but you're still on your back, and his buddy's punting your fucking head. Whereas Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz, two MMA fighters, you get in a fight with those guys, and they just start throwing their hands.
They are zombies,
dude.
They really are like post-apocalyptic.
They're
nuclear
true fighters.
Winter. No, they're not fighters. They're zombies. Like if you flamethrow through that, how would you say that? If you took a flamethrower if you flame
Nick
through
Diaz
them,
keep coming. He just keeps coming.
He'd be on fire, and he would just walk slower.
He talks to people while he fights them.
He talks to people when he's got him in a guillotine. He's talking shit.
He's incredible. He's a true fighter. He doesn't care about getting hit, okay? He gets hit. He doesn't have a strategy.
Freddie Roach?
No, he trains in Andre Ward's camp.
I knew that already. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I believe in Oakland. And those guys are
You know the old expression they say,
boxers.
Like your parents or your father or your uncle will go, whenever there's a group of guys, like a bunch of guys surrounding you, you take the biggest guy and you punch him right in his face, man.
Yeah.
I always disagreed with that emphatically.
Me too.
I'm taking that smallest guy, that guy that's got no business being.
And then I'm running.
Huh?
That's the hole in the group.
Oh, no. This ties into his friends kicking you in the face when you're on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop choking his esophageal passage. I'm going to choke the shit out of this kid and bang his head on the floor. And you can kick my face, my broken rib, but he's going to die.
You know what my buddy did? He got jumped by a bunch of dudes.
Because, I want to hear this story in its entirety without me interrupting.
Yeah.
Because that little guy has no business rolling around talking shit with the big guy. Like you go to a bar with like Justin McCulley and like these weird 500 record MMA guys. Like those are the guys that talk shit because they've earned the right to go in. Tank Abbott can go into a bar in Calgary and go, "Hey, everyone in here, fucking blow me." Like that, and everyone just turns their head because he's a giant crazy person.
God, I'd be afraid of him. I met him a long time ago. He terrified me.
But it's that little guy with Tank Abbott that goes, "Yeah, motherfucker, what's up? I'm killing that guy."
And he used to hang with those kind of guys. There'd always be one dude who was like little who'd wear a ski cap, and I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, the guy that wrestled like 112 in college.
That's right.
And you're like, really?
Right. Who's angry. And kind
so
of a bad
angry.
person. And a bad person. My buddy got jumped, grabbed the dude, and bit his face and held him there with his teeth. on top of him, and they couldn't kick him. And the dude started to freak out, and he's going, and he held onto his cheek with his fucking teeth and held onto him, and they could not put the boots to him because they were kicking. And his buddy, the guy he had on top, started to flip the fuck out. And they're like, get off him! Get the fuck off him! He wouldn't let him go. Held him there for a good old long time. The guy had large wounds in his mouth, in his face.
Was the reason he bit him, was that strategic so he couldn't get kicked?
So he couldn't get kicked and kept his face close to his face.
That's like black op. That's like
damn
Delta.
Right it is.
That's like other level Delta op stuff.
You fucking A right.
Like when you hit the ground in the heat of the moment too, like you're just throwing and and that guy goes, you know what? I'm gonna bite his face so if someone kicks me, it will jar flesh from his bone.
That's right. My buddy played for keeps that way. He was a really scary bad guy. Like just played for keeps. Like you get in a fight with him, he's gonna show up on your doorstep. It's gonna be a bad situation.
Who is this guy?
Know, I can't really say his name, but he did go to jail for 2 years.
How long?
2 years.
For assault?
Yeah.
It'd be weird if you were like, nah, mail fraud. Very odd. You know those commemorative coins? He would just send them out of his basement. You would think a guy like that...
Selling fake stamps.
It was very sad. And it's federal and it shouldn't be. It's like a 36-cent thing.
By the way, do you know Mitch Rouse?
No, I don't think so.
Mitch is a really funny guy. He was in the Second City guy. And he told me a story. He went back to his high school reunion. And he said, I think that's what he was saying, but he said that he goes back to look for Fitzy, or I think the guy's name was Fitzy or something. They called him Fitzy. And where's Fitzy? And
was back where?
Like back to Tennessee where, he grew up. And his brother was there or something. His brother or his cousin goes, he's not around, man. And he goes, where is he? He goes, it's a bad story, bro. And everybody kind of got weird and stuff, right? So and he's like, well, what do you mean weird? What are you talking about, weird? He goes, he's just not around, man. He's, they go, so he goes, what the fucking Fitzy was the guy who was crazy. He'd get on the roof of your car and you'd drive 60 miles an hour. Crazy. He was that kind of guy. Fun to have around. So where the fuck is he? Don't tell me it's a bad story. Did he die? What the fuck happened? So the guy, his cousin goes, well, he's in jail, bro. And he goes, well, jail? What the fuck did he do? He goes, it's a bad, dude, you don't want to know, man. He goes, what do you mean I don't want to know? What the fuck did he do? He goes, he fucking raped a guy in a cornfield. And so Mitch goes, what? Well, he's a fucking straight guy. He's banging girls. What do you think? He had a girlfriend. What are you talking about? Raped a guy in a cornfield. He goes, yeah, the guy was a waiter at like Denny's and he became friends with him and then he lured him out to the cornfield and raped him. So he goes, well, all right. And he went to jail. He goes, yeah. He goes, well, I mean, how do you know he raped him? And he goes, well, the thing is he tried to kill him afterwards, but the guy got away. And that was the fucking story, how Fitzy is now in jail for male cornfield rape.
Cornhole cornfield.
Fucking hilarious. Cornhole cornfield.
But but it wasn't sex, it was aggression, right? It wasn't like...
I would imagine if you try to fucking rape, if you fuck a guy in a cornfield and then you try to kill him, I would consider that more aggressive than sexual.
Yeah, it's probably the dumbest thing I've said.
I think even if you fuck a guy, frankly, I have a whole debate about, if you get fucked, it's like I was talking about having a son. Like I got a son. Like if my son is gay, like my buddy's gay, right? And he's got a boyfriend who wears his hair over one eye. He's Asian. He's got a bubble ass. He kind of arches his back. He's got the fucking imposture of a Chiquita banana. He's always arching his back. And by the way, I'm a little attracted to the guy.
I was just going to say, you look.
There's no doubt. And I said to my buddy's got a deep voice. He makes millions of dollars. I go, you guys ever switch it up a little bit? And he goes, what the fuck do you mean? I go, like, do you ever get on top? I mean, on bottom and he goes on top. He goes, fuck no. I don't do that shit. You mean, does he fuck me in the ass? I go, whoa. I was like, all right, guess you're a homophobic, gay guy. I mean, he took offense to it, right?
Tops only.
If my son is gay like that, where he fucks guys, I can understand. I'll be like, I got something in common with you. You know what I mean? Like where I'm like, all right, go wash your dick off and watch the game. You fucked a guy last night. I mean, that's aggressive. If you fuck a guy, it's kind of like punching a guy. If you get fucked, that's going to be harder for me to relate to. I don't have a lot, that's just a different kind of gay.
Was he nice to you?
Right. Was he aggressive? Why do you have marks on your neck? So
I remember watching Oz.
And I did that show.
You did?
I did too. And in the second season of that show. Yeah.
There was a scene, there's always like man on man, like the threat of rape was constant on Oz.
Constant.
But there one guy, the white supremacist be like, hey, frag, put your lipstick on, frag. Emil Skota.
Simmons.
Yeah, Emil Skota from Law and Order. Hey, frag, But then one guy, that was like one of the guys in charge of the white supremacist.
Yeah, Chris Maloney or something. Yeah,
one of those guys wasn't Maloney. I don't know, but one of those guys had to wear lipstick and had like they just turned him for some reason.
He got a mouth transplant.
Oh, that's right. He had his lips bitten off in like a fight, and they gave him a lip transplant, and they gave him black lips, and he couldn't be in the Brotherhood anymore.
Get the fuck.
Yeah. This was way like season 44, where you're like, we don't have any more ideas. Like, what happened? You can't just have.
Well, give the guy a black mouth.
How many times can you put, Luke Perry behind a wall?
I'm fucking real.
So he was great in that, by the way. But here's the thing: when they were raping the guy. It's almost like you just watch a guy raping another guy, like, well, that's jail.
Yeah.
But the guy raping him punched him in the ribs, and I went, well, that's taking it too far.
One of the top of the food chain, Mike Brown.
His face fucking beaten by
No, he didn't.
Diego Sanchez?
No. Tiago won his last fight.
Who did Diego Sanchez beat up?
I don't know.
Named Thiago Alves.
But I love Diego Sanchez because he
never
never
quits.
Who did he
just beat a Portuguese guy?
Not Thiago Alves. Thiago Alves doesn't get beat up, my friend.
All right, I'll look it up, though.
Thiago Alves is a monster. And he gave me a private lesson because he was a Death Valley fan, which is a TV show only he and one other person watch. And you watch.
Matt Cohen saw it. Killer bees. Not because of their killer mentality or their punch packs a sting. Only because they're wearing yellow jackets that say event security. And you see the bees going up the stairs. Just swarms of yellow jackets going up. But I've gone to high school, like Michael Sisler, for example.
Yeah.
He was kind of not in special ed, but if he went, it wouldn't be like, what are you doing here? Like, he's one of those guys. Like, that's the guy
I know.
breaking up the shirtless, come on!
That's right.
You're like, what is Sisler doing?
I was down in Florida, and my buddy Eve Edwards, who is a MMA, a mixed martial arts legend. He's a guy who
black
fights
guy with white women.
Thank you. And he, I think his wife is actually Korean.
Play along.
I'll play along. And
she's off-white.
And he calls me up and he said, I call him up and I say, I want to go to American Top Team. And I want to do a little, I want to just go in there.
That's the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, correct?
That's a professional mixed martial arts gym where Thiago Alves, who's sent him in there.
He's going to get his face beat in.
He sent him in there.
And is the mentality, do you think, like you just overwhelm them with yellow jackets?
That's what you got to do.
Whoa, I better chill out.
You get a whole group of guys, big guys, to just smother him. That's what you want to do.
But they're not even big.
You can't get a guy like Nick Diaz in there because Nick Diaz will fucking punch his lights out, and then you got a huge lawsuit.
Nick Diaz, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, is just a phenom UFC fighter.
Now, by the way, you say I'm tough. For me, I'm a pussy, right? I know enough about fighting to know what a pussy I am. For example, I went down to American Top Team, and Thiago Alves gave me a private lesson.
Let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
Whenever you're going to talk fighting, you got to slow it down.
You're right. Because people don't.
We had to shelve an entire podcast.
Really? Because
it's like American Top. It's like people don't know what American Top Team is. They don't like it's fighting is the ultimate micro. Yeah. It's a microcosm of 40 different microcosms.
It really is, by the way.
So
most people don't live that way. They don't think.
We want to hear the story, but you just got to really slow it down for message board people.